Welcome back to another painting session. Today I'll be helping you to align your planets, this time in an array of 4, and to possibly make a nebula out of it as well. Today's theme would be a more natural one, except for the clouds, of course. I'll have a blue ocean, some green islands, and a pink and magenta cloudscape, similar to my last tutorial of how to make a linear galaxy, and I do advise that you look at that if you want to know how to make a galaxy in that way. Of course, there's other ways that I plan to go in depth to, but it's just linear, which is just straight up, kind of like how these planets are now. Now, I have these assorted already because I have to make them straight first. You do this just by looking at them in a straight angle, making some proper adjustments. Once you have found those adjustments, you just highlight them with a color of your choice. Make an outline. You don't need weights for this. And there you have it. Now you have a white spot where you know where to put your planet texturing and paint. So I'll just put these over here and I'll get to painting. I'll also experiment a tiny bit with new layering formats, and that is to say, I want a more detailed layering, more depth, like oceans and continents and whatnot. I want to more look like continents than just whatever the newspaper lays down. I would like it to be a bit more nuanced than that, but I could only try. And that is what I am here to teach you all. Different ways how to spray paint. Of course, you don't have to do everything my way. You could find something that I do and then meld it with your own style. That's always welcome. Bring something new to the table. Now, as always, I am doing the darkest blue, or in this case, it would be blue, but later on it will be green, magenta, whites. You see that it's all on the bottom. That is because the source of all this light will be up top here. So I will reflect that by having lighter colors on the top facing that light and darker colors facing away from it. Of course, I still have shading, but it adds a bit more shading than just one color would do. There we go. Now to add some greens. Again, I'll do some darkest on the bottom, light up top, but I'm going to make it a bit more varied. Or more than that. Sorry about that. This is the garage door. Shouldn't happen again. So, as you will soon see, I'll be layering this green here, not just dark here, light there. I'll be having more of the light in sparse other places to have an illusion of brighter greens, like brighter continents, islands, what have you, in other places. Maybe a less dense island of forests. Maybe an island full of forest that's creating that green. Other reasons why there'll be less dark greens on complete bottom. Just making more reason for the planets to seem a bit more real. Maybe a bit more real than they actually are. So just a bit more up top here, glazing with the bright greens. Now I'll put some magenta down. I won't do the dark magenta, I'll just do the normal medium, light pink, and then white at the top. Actually, this is when I'm going to try something new. I'm going to use the newspaper 2 times over. I'm going to test it on this planet first, and then I'm going to put down these clouds after them. Sit down like this. No, it's fine. Alright. Now the motion of the texturing will be in all directions. It won't just be like that. So for instance, I have this texture here, rounding up, curving like this, as you see there. I'm just going to have a bit more peeling here. Just give me a moment. That's about right. Same for the top two. Sorry that the canvas is moving quite a bit. I try to make it stay there as long as I can, but I can only do so much. Okay. Alright, so that looks a bit varied. Very good. Now I will put down the clouds like I was supposed to before. Alright. Hopefully this turns out well. I can only hope though. I did put a lot of glass coat on this, so a lot of it might come off. A lot of the stuff that I already peeled. Yeah, it is. Quite a bit of it. That's fine, I'll just go over again and again until there's more and more green and blues. Sorry for the silence, I've just been focusing on this. That's good. Now you can crop with these in any way you wish. I'm just doing a normal linear format. Whenever I say linear, I mean straight lines. I'm just making lines of this paper. For the clouds, I'm not going to leave a lot of room for leeway. So I'm going to have a lot of gloss there. I'm going to have a lot of pressure on the newspaper to get as much from it as I can. I need to remove as much of that white as I can so I can make a good cloudscape. If I don't do that, it'll just look like a muddled mess, and I do not want a muddled mess. One last newspaper for this, then we'll go on to shading and tinting. Come on, just be patient with this. If it sticks, it's fine, you could just peel it back. If it doesn't peel back, you could always paint over it. But always make sure that this doesn't happen by using a lot of gloss paint. Slow and steady. There we go. Again, sorry if this moves a lot. I really have to tape this thing down more often. Move this. Get the tinting right for this, and then I'll go over to the shading. Okay, got all that. Let's hope that this shading works. Seems like it is. It's a dark blue, navy blue to be exact, if you're wondering the exact color. I'm using a color in the same vein as the theme I am using. And I would advise you do that as well, as if you were to choose just normal black, it might be a bit too harsh. Okay. About good. Yeah, that looks good. That looks fine. Better than I thought it would come out as, to be honest. Whenever the newspaper was sticking too much. So I'm just going to put a gloss coat over it to finalize everything. And then I will come back after all of this is dry. In the meantime, I'll show you some nature footage. I do plan to get new video, just better ones for nature in the meantime. But I don't think it'll be this video, it might be next video though. I do have to go out of my way to get the footage, but I do plan to do that. It'll be a fun little excursion, a good walk for me. But anyways, I hope that you do enjoy the break, and after that, we'll be right back. And now we are back. So once all of your planets is all well and dry, and you can make sure of this by gliding your hand across, making sure nothing sticks, then you are good to go. Then you place your stencils whichever way you like. For me, I will place, well, I'll just get a small stencil because it's like this one got a bit too small. Alright, this should do. Put it there. Try to get them as aligned and straight as possible. You can put them in, you can make them disaligned at first, just to at least get them down. But later on, just make sure that they're all straight, narrow. None of them are out of line at all. Just a little bit here. Moving this. Maybe a bit more, and that should be good. Yep, that looks about right from my perspective anyway. Now to put down the weights, make sure you have enough. Make sure none of these flat stencils are curved in any way. No creases that they might fold upwards or downwards, naturally or not. You want it to be as flat as possible when you put them down onto your canvas, or piece of paper in my case. I just call this the canvas, even though it's just a piece of poster board. Now, it's not the poster board you see at like science fairs and whatnot. It just has a strange name. It's more like poster paper. Some people actually call it that. I would like to also call it that as well, because it just makes a bit more sense. It doesn't have the right thickness of real thick poster board. Think of this paper as like the cardstock, like glossy cardstock, because that's kind of what it is. As long as it makes, you know, that, I can't put it into words, like that whooping sound every time you like Do I have like a piece of paper of that? If it makes this sound, you're good. Because the thickness is pretty thin. But as long as it makes this sound, you have what you got. You got what you need, and also make sure that there is a gloss side, because the gloss side takes the gloss paint a bit better. That's just because, oh whoa, it's gloss. It's because the other side takes paint a bit more. That isn't, it soaks it. It doesn't have that protective layer that gives it that gloss finish to, you know, protect itself from soaking in all the other paint. So I always paint on the gloss covered side, so it's just a bit more protected. Just abide with me a bit longer as I put all these weights down. I know it seems like it's taking a really long time. I just have to make sure everything's right. I might as well make sure everything's right here than get messed up later on. Okay, that seems about right. Now just check that the stencils are good by prying and pushing down the sides of the stencil, making sure if you push them down it doesn't move, because if you can move it further down, that means that there's an opening there. There's a space in which you can push it down. That space would allow paint to seep in, and you do not want that. You want the seams to be as crisp as can be. Unless, of course, you plan for your plants to have an atmosphere, in which case I would rather have that color, or not that color, that atmosphere be made outside of the space, made after you make the space, with a hollow stencil or otherwise, because it just looks better that way than this paint, the dark paint, seeping in. So first I'll put down some very dark navy blue paint. Yep, that's about good. Spritz over the sides that you didn't quite get. Yeah, be good. Now I'm just gonna have some layers of other paint. For this, it will be just blue. I'll have some greens later on, so don't worry. I also plan to have a nebula of sorts. Some nebula clouds on the outside. So I'm just going to have some lighter blues, or well, teals in this case, with these paints like that. Make it all look nice. Have some other lagoon to blend it in a bit better. Like that. looks about good. Should I put a nebula here? Oh, this is peeking up a little bit. That's not good. This is the shading side, but still, I'd rather have something there. Yeah, it's better. Alright, should I use a gaseous or not? I think I will. Give me a second. Alright. Now, to make a nebula, you just have to get a piece of paper, same as the stencil, the canvas, the paper I've been talking about, the poster paper, the same thing that makes this sound. And you use that to cut it up into here. You just take a rip out of it. You can make it as random as you need, but make sure that it has like good bumps, like clouds. This has more rounded edges because it's been kind of tempered with the paint, so it's been adapted to be as much cloud-like as possible because this is fairly old, maybe a few months, so it's in good condition to do what I'm about to show you here, which I will have some green paint. First will be spring green. Where's like a good cap for this? This should be fine. Spray on the paper side, not more on the actual canvas, because unlike here, you want it just to be concentrated on the sides. Now I gotta go around, get over here, pardon the elbow. I can't really hold this with my left hand. I mean my right hand, my bad. So I kinda had to do this. Okay, that looks about right. Just gonna spray it here. Looks good. Just gonna make it as symmetrical as possible. Add some layers to this nebula. You can knock some of your weights down to make some space. Okay. And I'm using this color for some highlights here to add some depth to all of this. Make some tinting of all of this by using a lighter green color and also adding some extra clouds. few more, making some more wispier clouds for this. I'm just going to go over with the spring green again. Kind of just putting a filter of over everything. Sorry. That looks about right. Yeah, that looks good. I don't think I gotta add anything else. Now I just have to do the comets, stars, and then I think we'll be done. One drawback of using this like I was doing without a glove, it gets in your thumb a lot. You can see here. See, it's all green now. And now my glove got messed up because I just took it out like that. Give me a second. And because you have paint on your hand, like I do, if you do have paint on your hand like I do, it will stick to a lot of things more easily. So that's a shame. But anyway, I gotta get the right colors for all this. I'm gonna use a combination of key lime and whites. You can have this combination by spraying both on your fingers so it mixes on that finger. And so that combination that you made will be spritz on that painting. And make sure that to keep in mind that these little lines, they're not in the painting. They're because the light reflecting like that. I'll make sure that when I go in and show you all what it really looks like up close, it won't be there. So as you can see there, it's a very bright green, very light green. Some of it is more green than before, which is fine. Some more white, that's also good. I have more white stars in the middle to have a bit more variety there. A lot of stars. Alright, looks about good. Okay. Now for the comments, I've gone over how you can make this. I just want to finish this up fairly quickly, so if you want to look at more in-depth comment making, you can look at another tutorial where I do just that, along with how to deal with stars, safety, and whatnot. More about space, more about planets. Different from what I'm doing now. And I had to show you what exactly I'm going to do right here. I will say this, make sure that you clean your comment maker or your piece of paper that you make with your comments. Make sure you clean that so the paint doesn't make little droplets. Stars are always a good thing, but you don't want them to be all big and globby. Now just mess up everything. So it's been a bit quiet. I've just been focusing on this. Now I hope that all of you have enjoyed so far the tutorial. Now we're not done yet, but I still want to ask. And if you do enjoy this tutorial, I do recommend that you look at my other videos that I go over other topics in the field of spray painting, if you do like this form of art. If you do, I do recommend my channel, as I do think I have a good supply of all those things that you might need. Or if you just like my paintings in general. Of course, you can simply just like the video, comment what you like, what you don't like. Any compliments or criticisms both equally help me to become a better painter and video maker for these paintings. How many more? Just one more. That looks about good. Alright. Now that I have all those comments well and good, I'll take these weights off and then make a grand reveal of what this painting really looks like. Now, personally, I hope it goes well, like I do with all my paintings, but I never really know until I lift up the paper. Personally, this is my favorite part, as usually it does go fairly well. I'm guessing it's also your favorite part as well. I might even make a video of all, or many, of my stencil removals. I'll start with the smallest. 1, so good so far. 2, 3, last but not least, 4. Alright, yeah, I think it went pretty well. Now it's time for the gloss coat. And after this, I will let you all have a close-up of this painting in all of its glory. Right after, get the gloss coat on and the signature. Alright, time for the close-ups. Now I think I did a fairly good job on this painting in particular. Something trying new with the texturing and whatnot. But what I think doesn't really matter, as opposed to what you all think of the painting and tutorial you just watched. Again, I'll go over this again. If you have liked today's painting session and lesson, then I do hope that you all will take some time out of your day to like the video, comment what you liked, comment what you don't like, both of which equally help me to become a better video maker and spray painter and teacher for you all. Of course, if you like what I do, spray painting videos, ultimately you could subscribe to the channel to be updated almost every single day of what projects I am cooking up. And yeah, that next project and that next lesson, I'm not really sure what I might do, but no matter what it is, whatever it might be, I hope to see you all there. Bye bye.